We might have just gotten our first concrete leak that suggests Zombie Chronicles 2 is more likely to happen than it's ever had before. Now, I want to make this very clear, this isn't me saying that it is going to happen. But as we'll explain, this new piece of information is the closest thing we have to base a likelihood of it happening. Now, when talking about this, we're not talking about it being in Cold War or Black Ops 4 or Black Ops 3, but more likely to be in COD 2024. Now, the proof on where this has come from is a new article dropped by Jason Schreier on Bloomberg. Jason is without question the most credible gaming insider in the whole industry. He's dropped leaks on Call of Duty for so many years in a row that we've covered here on the channel that have all been accurate. I'll leave a link to his article so you can read the full thing for yourself. But the detail that made me instantly think Zombie Chronicles 2 is more likely is this bombshell at the end where Activision executives were briefing staff on a brand new vision for Call of Duty, in which these games would no longer be coming out every single year, but instead would work on a 2-year cycle, switching between Modern Warfare and Black Ops games, with each game receiving 2 years of support. Let me read you that again. Each of these games will receive 2 years of support, meaning when Treyarch's next Black Ops game comes out at the end of 2024, that game is going to receive 2 years of support. This is absolutely phenomenal news for everyone out there that is a Treyarch fan like myself. We are going to be eating good when this next Black Ops game comes around. Now, of course, we have the wording of 2 years of support. We don't know exactly what that entails as a content pipeline, but if you look at what the plans are for Modern Warfare 2 and how they switched from a full expansion to a full-on game because the scope of that expansion is so big, we can start to imagine what Treyarch could do for a year 2 content plan for their next Black Ops game. Now, diving into the rumors of Modern Warfare 2's year 2, this was originally going to have a premium expansion to fill in the gap of there being no Call of Duty game this year, as originally Treyarch's next game was supposed to come out at the end of this year, but it was pushed to 2024 last year. Rather than Activision miss out a year of Call of Duty, they decided to go with a premium expansion, which was going to have a single player campaign and several multiplayer maps, but the scope of it was so big that eventually it morphed into a full game release, and that's what the rumors are saying. Now, at first, hearing a new COD game coming out at the end of this year by Sledgehammer Games, which is essentially Modern Warfare 2.5, isn't the most exciting thing to hear about, but according to Jason Schreier, the current plan is for the game to carry over maps and modes from Modern Warfare 2 into it, so it will feel a lot like an extension of Modern Warfare 2, so you're not losing out on content. With the idea of it originally being an expansion, we can imagine that would probably come out to about half the cost of a normal game, maybe slightly more, but now it's going to be a full price game. Now, when we talk about what Treyarch could do for year 2 of Black Ops 2024, to me, it makes so much perfect sense for a year 2 of Black Ops 2024 to, rather than continue on the season of content, they could have a cliffhanger with the zombies mode after their 4th map, and the year 2 content could be Zombies Chronicles 2. The rumors surrounding what Modern Warfare 2's expansion game is going to be is it's essentially going to contain a ton of remastered content from the original Modern Warfare 2. We're talking all the weapons, we're talking all the maps, as well as there being brand new maps, brand new weapons, and a brand new campaign. If this is what they plan to do with Modern Warfare, then it wouldn't be a surprise that they would probably maybe also plan to do the same thing for Black Ops 2024. Introduce an expansion. If they actually want to go with an expansion this time rather than creating a full price, full-fledged game, that would also contain a new campaign that extends and continues from Treyarch's original campaign in this game and opens the doors for them to bring in a ton of remastered content from all the older Black Ops titles. I truly believe that with those lining up, there is no way that Zombies Chronicles 2 isn't more likely to happen if they follow the plans of this year's standalone expansion. One issue with Zombie Chronicles 2, which I've not been able to make any sense of looking at it from a business perspective, is how they could monetize it, because we now live in a Call of Duty world where every bit of post-launch content we get is free. Zombies Chronicles was the best-selling DLC on the PlayStation Store for the whole of 2017, and it made a ridiculous amount of money for Activision. I could imagine that if they wanted to do a second Zombies Chronicles, they absolutely would want to somehow monetize it. So what better way for them to monetize it than having it within a year 2 expansion to Black Ops 2024? That way we're getting it on a brand new updated IW9 engine where it's going to be absolutely beautiful, being the first full-fledged Treyarch game on that engine, but then it also be an opportunity for them to bring back these maps to a brand new generation of players on the next-gen consoles. To me, there is only 2 ways that the year 2 of Black Ops 2024 is going to go down. Either we're going to get a full year 2 expansion with a full brand new campaign, new multiplayer maps, as well as brand new zombies maps that continue on that season rather than get any remasters, or they follow in the footsteps of what's going on with Modern Warfare 2 and we get a ton of remastered content, which is the full main bulk of that year 2 content, but also sprinkle a few new bits of content as well. Now, when we talk about the idea of year 2 content for COD 2024, 2024, we need to look at how Modern Warfare 2's Year 2 content is being handled, because the scope of it is so big that they had to get a completely different studio in to be the full primary developers on it. And if Treyarch can't fully support their game in the second year to the same level as the first year, then wouldn't it make so much sense that instead of falling back to a different studio creating that content, bulk of that content is remastered content? Now, by no means am I saying that takes less effort than creating brand new content from scratch, but to me, it's the best of both worlds scenario. You have remastered content that fans love and have been wanting for ages, and it doesn't require as much development time as it would to create an entire game's worth of second year content. Us would not care at all about paying for Zombies Chronicles 2, because we know that we'll be getting a really good package, something that we've wanted for years and years and years. And Treyarch and Activision themselves know how badly the Zombies community and the fans at large want Zombie Chronicles 2. We've heard rumors for years that it was supposed to be a planned thing for Black Ops 4, where we had so many assets from those remastered maps within Black Ops 4, such as so many different portions of Transit and Buried in Blackout, even having the Victor's characters completely remodeled. Transit Bus and TED exists in a multiplayer map. Like, it was so blindingly obvious that there were plans for it to be in Black Ops 4, and it never happened. And we saw Kevin Drew tweet during the life cycle of Cold War that they know that we want to see Zombies Chronicles 2, and that if we want it to be a thing, we need to make as much noise about it so Activision can see that the demand is there. And I really hope that the Year 2 we see for Black Ops 2024 will end up being a expansion to the game rather than a full-fledged release, because this article mentions that Activision did not make Sledgehammer Games aware about the plans changing about Treyarch's game being pushed forward until early last year. The Sledgehammer Games team have reportedly been having to absolutely rush to get this finished on schedule. The article mentions that some current and former employees of Sledgehammer are worried about the schedule, given the company less than 2 years to develop the game, mentioning that a similar schedule for Vanguard led to a difficult period of overtime for some staff, and that game didn't perform as well as Activision had anticipated. But this time around, the developers are more optimistic because they're receiving more support from other Activision studios, including Treyarch and Infinity Ward, whose leadership is also supervising new COD 2023 game, which is just absolutely bizarre to me to think that Treyarch are having to do basically everything, even whilst they're trying to juggle developing their own game. They had to help with partial development for Vanguard with Zombies mode. They've had to help develop ranked play mode for Modern Warfare 2. So there's other bits on the game, and now they're having to help with this upcoming expansion standalone game, as well as making their own game for 2024. I just really hope that all of this doesn't affect their development for that game, but seeing as they have now an extra year than what they originally had, I'm sure that's given Treyarch a lot more freedom to spend a bit more time to make sure that game is perfect. And if it's planned to have 2 years, then that is absolutely fantastic. The only thing that throws the likelihood of Zombie Chronicles 2 being likely a bit out the window is that any long-term plans at Activision remain hazy and tentative, as the company wants to finalize its acquisition by Microsoft. By the sounds of it, the 2 years of support thing could be thrown out the window if Microsoft acquire Activision, but I have to be honest, I hope Microsoft can see that the 2-year thing is a very positive thing for Call of Duty, and something which I think actually most fans want, because at this point we are getting a little bit fatigued of having a new game every single year. And when you look at a game like Black Ops Cold War, I feel like that game definitely could have done with having 2 years of support. I would have been very happy to have that instead of Call of Duty Vanguard, and I would even argue that the original Modern Warfare 2019 could have easily had 2 years of support. That game was absolutely monstrous throughout its entire year, especially with Warzone and what happened in 2020. That could have given Treyarch an extra year to work on Black Ops Cold War. Hey, the W's all around is that Treyarch have more time to make Black Ops 2024 the best game it can be, and to not rush it out like it sounds like this upcoming standalone game this year might be. Very, very interesting stuff. We don't really have any other details on what this year's standalone expansion game to Modern Warfare 2 is going to contain, apart from a brand new campaign, and it's going to have new maps, weapons, but it's also going to carry over maps and modes from Modern Warfare 2 into it. But if it's likely we're going to see remastered Modern Warfare content in this year's standalone, then it's a no-brainer we're going to see remastered content for Year 2 of Black Ops 2024.